judge not that you be not judged for what judge you judge, who you judge, not with the measure that you use, so what measure you have to you. Now why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck from your eyes and look at the plank in your own eye? 5.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find it. Hypocrite. First remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Do not give what is holy to the dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet, and turn and tear you in pieces. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. Or what man is there among you who is, if a son asks for bread, will give him a stone?
Or if he asks for a fish, will he give him a serpent? If you then evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? Therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them. For this is the law and the prophets.
Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Watch out for the false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are furious wolves.
You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them.
Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. How will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name? 23.
I can barely hear you.
23.
This is really long.
That's what I told you, I'm turning it off.
And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye who practice lawlessness. I have apple in my mouth, sorry. Therefore, whoever hears these
24 was
huh?
24.
Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on the house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock.
26.
But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. And so it was when Jesus had ended these sayings that the people were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one having authority and not as the scribes.
Lord, that's powerful. Guys, we stopped off at, really we stopped off at 14. When we started talking about these gates, or really these roads that you will go to, and we know that he's talking about what? Heaven, or he's talking about what? The Hadean world. And or in this case, it would be heaven or hell, is what he's talking about. So he's describing heaven or hell. It's amazing how Jesus brings this to the table. He brings this to the table, and who can question him? If anybody would know, it would be him, because he's been there when his Father was around. When all this was created, he was there, or he was in the creation business. What we fail to understand is, was heaven and hell, was it created before the foundation of the world? Question mark.
Yes.
One says yes. Can't speak for everybody, so one says yes. Anyone else? Everybody else is quiet? You don't know?
I didn't hear the question for you.
Heaven and hell, was it created before
The world.
the world?
I think so.
Anybody else?
I don't know, so I'm not gonna say.
Huh?
I don't know, so I'm not
I think
gonna
it
say.
was.
I think we know.
Remember, he created everything.
Mm-hmm. I think it was created.
My guess would be no, but
That's an interesting question, isn't it?
It is,
It
I
is.
think no, too.
That's an
Yes.
interesting question, but remember when did God create in Genesis?
Yeah.
The heavens and the earth.
He created what?
The heavens and
The
the
heavens
earth.
and the earth. Did he create hell and heaven?
Mm-hmm.
Heaven already existed.
It already existed.
That's right.
He couldn't, he didn't, well, we know he did create. The question is when he did create, because we know heaven is his home.
right.
So we know that he was home, and hell then therefore was also created
Mm-hmm.
by him, but
Before,
before the
creation.
foundation of the world.
Yeah.
Because,
Before
what took place?
even the fall. I
yeah,
mean,
well, that's what I said, so what took place? What took place in heaven?
Yeah.
Satan got
Yeah,
beside
okay.
himself.
That makes
Remember?
sense. Yeah.
Remember saying that already done something right? Satan was kicked out of earth? No, Satan was kicked out of
Yeah.
Of heaven.
heaven.
So he would have created hell for
Yeah,
That's
him.
right.
So it
Before
was made for, hell was made for Satan and his angels.
Mhm.
But I don't know why in the world we feel Satan, hell was made for us, when hell wasn't made for us.
Right.
Hell was made for that which is disobedient, but which would have been Satan and his angels. Remember, there was no disobedience before then, because remember, he was creating the heaven and the earth. Remember, it was perfect. And so now you get where it's being, where he's creating in his creation. He also knows that mankind too will be what? Disobedient, will become disobedient. So then, it's a place that he doesn't have to build anymore because it's already built.
Already there.
So it's no need for building one for mankind, because mankind is, he never intended for man to go to hell. And we were his greatest creation. He never intended for us to go there. Yes,
I have a question.
okay.
Okay, heaven is a holy place.
It's a holy place.
I mean, it's holy. I mean, it's beautiful. No
Yeah, it's a holy,
sin.
yeah.
It's holy. Okay. God created Satan
Yes,
to be this beautiful angel, and at one point Satan was blameless in all his ways.
yes,
And God even, I guess, gave him charge over, he kind of gave him charge of the garden or something?
No.
No? But anyway, he was a beautiful angel. So where did this, if in heaven, where did this evil come from? I mean, how did
Satan become,
he just become, I mean, there's no sin in heaven. There's, you know, so where did this evil come from?
because what did God, when it's created, what did God create? What did God?
Free will, okay.
Free will. He gave free will. Free will says what? Out of its creation, free will existed. or he brought in free will, but with free will, what does that mean? Because like you said, it's free will. It's what I do. It's whatever I will to do. So God gave free choice, is what I'm saying. So he gave free choice. And that choice started from Satan, where he gave the choice. Remember, Satan was God's most powerful angel, remember?
Yeah.
He was also one of his most beautiful angels, the most beautiful angel that he ever created. So you got to look at it. So here's this angel that he created, which he eventually wanted to do something for his angel, and that would have been what?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
And he wanted to do something for his angel, and that would have been what? Ephesians 6 says what?
Worship?
Huh?
You said, who wanted to do something for the angel?
No, God. God wanted to do something for Satan.
He wanted to give him rule over the earth.
Huh?
He wanted to give him rule over the earth.
That's what I was saying, or maybe I said it wrong.
So then, your Bible says what? Ephesians 6 says,
6 what?
Ephesians 6:1? No,
11.
11.
No, I'm saying really 10.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places.
Worldly.
Heavenly places.
And so what was Satan? Then I remember, I truly remember giving you all very short, brief story of what's going on with creation. And it's very simple. Satan was God's greatest creation, or one of God's greatest creation. He was what? Where was he with God?
He was in heaven with
He was
God.
where though with God? He was in his presence, but what?
Heavenly place.
In his presence, but what?
In heavenly places.
Where? You repeated that one. You can't keep saying it. That one is right.
In third heaven.
No, we know he's in heaven, because that's where God is. Where?
Right side?
On his right side. That's where he was at. He was
Right
there.
side.
Y'all watch Jim
Yeah.
raising it right
Right
there.
side.
So that shows you how much power God had given him. God had said, yes, right side, he's there. So Satan is there. So then God had given him rule. So God was going to allow him to rule. The problem was,
That's what I mentioned. I guess I shouldn't say garden.
okay,
I mean, I guess.
well, he's going
you
to come
don't-
into the garden.
Okay.
He is going to come into the garden. That's how he gets his Adam and Eve. So he's going to come into the garden. So in the meantime, you've got Adam and you've got Satan who has sinned, right? And God says, the Bible says, I can't remember what's in Revelation, but the Bible says there was a great war, or a great fight that took place. And it was with Satan and who?
His angels.
Satan and who? Satan and fighting his angels. Satan and
Michael?
Michael. So, right, that's the name, that was the angel. So, God didn't even waste his time for fighting Satan. He sent an angel to fight Satan. The angel then, Michael then won. Michael then kicked him out of heaven. Well, when he was kicked out of heaven, then he went down to God as created. He went down to God's greatest creation. which would mean mankind, right? Adam and Eve. But in going down, when he went down from heaven, and you find it in Genesis the 6th chapter, but when he went down, when he came down from heaven, then he came down into what? Another beautiful place. So for me to get kicked out of heaven, then to get kicked down into earth, earth is perfect. So remember, earth was perfect.
Yeah.
So this is cool. I can stay down here. This is great. This is okay. So I'll stay down here. Well, but what is Satan's nature? To lie, to cheat.
Deception.
Yes, that's his, yes.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt your thought, but I was just thinking, you know, when the Lord made man, Adam and Eve,
Okay.
there was another one, his greatest creation, and Satan probably was just looking to destroy that.
Well, I know looking, I mean,
Well,
probably.
we know he was.
That's what he wanted to do, and that's what he continues to do. He hasn't stopped. He continues to work on God's greatest creation. Because watch this, when he comes down to heaven, he comes to the earth is perfect, right? So the earth is perfect. Well, what does Satan do? Condemn it. What does Satan do? Satan allows sin. When he comes, that's what comes with him. Sin. When sin comes, it did what? His goal was in what? To contaminate his greatest creation. And contaminating his greatest creation, what did he also contaminate?
The earth.
All of it, right. All of it
The only
becomes
way that
contaminated.
he was able to contaminate it
Right.
because Eve, what she did, that she was tempted by Satan, and so
He came down and did to Eve what he did to himself. Remember, this sin that we're talking about, and I keep hearing people, I always got, you're throwing it on the woman. The woman was deceived.
yeah.
Adam wasn't. You hear me? The woman was deceived, Adam wasn't. So then, God had made a statement to her as Satan comes into the midst. He says, if you eat of this fruit, you shall not, you shall surely die, is what he said. He didn't say you shall not. He said you shall surely die. She understood that. He understood that, right? They both understood that. Well, the problem is, Satan went after the weaker vessel. So going after the weaker vessel, what would be said to encourage this woman to do this? What was it that Satan himself desired?
To be God.
To be like God.
Be God.
What would she then desire?
To
If
be
you
like
eat
God.
of this fruit, you shall know what?
Good and evil.
Good and evil. You should. So you will be like
God.
God. So then she desired power. This is what she desired. This was there. So she had that desire for power. So what did she do? She plucked the fruit. She ate of the fruit. Adam wasn't hungry when this fruit was offered. What she then realized was that I did not die. He says, if I eat of this, I'm going to do what? Surely die. I didn't die. So what do?
Yes.
So then I give him some, right? And guess what? He doesn't die either. But something gets exposed. Now their eyes were open. They always knew the truth. They always knew the truth. Because God is the truth. So they always knew the truth. What is it that they didn't know?
That they were naked.
Oh, what is it that they didn't know?
What is it that they
Evil. something to think about it. They wouldn't know evil. Now all of a sudden they know evil.
So all this because of Satan's free will.
Now, I have a question. Is this a form of what she did?
Yeah,
She
what's the
usurped
word
him?
on fan? I'm on fan.
What, you know, she ate that fruit because she was convinced that she would not die, as Satan said, indicated. And the Lord had told her that you will surely die. So is this kind of like usurping the power here?
That's exactly what she's doing. She is going against God, so she's
Yeah.
usurping. And that was her punishment, remember? He says, and she shall do what? After childbearing, she shall do what?
Desire her
She shall desire her husband.
but not
Desire, you think, is
Not
that she shall
sexual.
want to have sex with her husband because of all the pain. But the desire is that she shall usurp her husband. That's the curse. And she shall usurp her husband. I don't care how you do it, I don't care how we work it. That wife is going to always usurp. She's going to always think she has a handle on stuff. You all have to be careful, you ladies in the church, because you know she talks about husbands. Well, you being single, that would force you into what? Independency, right? That would, you have to take care of yourself, is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You have to take care of yourself. Well, then you say, well, I don't have a husband. Well, watch this, but you do have a husband. Because for the world, you're right, they don't have a husband. So will they usurp? They will continue. They will desire power. They will always do this. But for you that have come into the church, you now have a husband. Christ. See what I'm saying? So you now have a husband. So he said, never usurp me. Well, you say, but you're right, so I'll never usurp you, Christ. He said, yes, you do. You do this when you what? When you usurp your brother. When you usurp your brother in Christ. When your brother is, especially worship, you are to have nothing. What is it? 2 Timothy, 2nd chapter, I think it's 12 and 13. You are, watch this, women are to be what? Silent in the church, right? If she needs to learn, she does what? She goes home to her
That's what
husband. He said, well, where then, I don't have a husband, where do I fit in at? Yes, ma'am.
So I often wonder about that when you said the woman's supposed to be silent in the church. Does that include the saying amen too?
Oh, no. That means, the silent there would mean, women, you don't have anything to do in the church because he is going, and he explains why, because he says Adam was created first. He explains why he makes the statement, because it wasn't Adam who was, in the word, deceived. It wasn't Adam who was deceived. It was the woman. So then what do you mean? Well, that's why he's saying, I don't want you to do anything because you can easily get deceived. He said, no, I wouldn't dare. Let that man that's gotten your attention, let him come in this place. I've seen it where the woman was faithful, coming here all the time, and all of a sudden she gets married and you can't, where is she? You can't find her. She's gone. She's following the instructions of her husband.
But
Yes.
isn't that the curse too? Because my grandmother always said that curse also led to women having to run after men these days. Because of that, because of her deception, that he made it hard for the woman with childbirth. He made it hard for her to, she always craves the man. And that's why in the Bible it says that the man should crave her, the wife, more than the wife should want him because of that curse as well. Is that
I've
true?
never heard of that. No, that's not an ounce of that. Because that woman has the same desires as that man. When it comes down to the sexual side, she has pheromones, and he has hormones. So that when you come upon that, believe it or not, that scent, when you know it or not, touches him, his hormones touch you, whether you know it or not. It's something that you don't even see, but it's out there. It's a sin. It's watch this. That's why when he speaks of Hebrews 13:4, he says what? He says marriage is honorable, and the bed is not defiled. Remember, that's why he makes that statement. Because, and then 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter, opens it up. He says it's better to marry than to burn in passion. So that's not, there's no reduction on neither male nor female. No, how she handles herself is because of that male being, having the lion in him, the go-getter, he's the lead. He's to be the lead. God made him to be the lead so that he goes after, we call it prey, so that he goes after who he wants. But it's not that that desire is not there, because you still have that desire as well. You just shouldn't pursue it as hard because of deception. So what do you mean? Well, because you can easily be but easily be deceived. You say, well then, that's horrible, because then by listening to Genesis the 3rd chapter 16, that's what you're talking about. Genesis the 3rd chapter 16 verse, that curse. Then what you're talking about is, then that's horrible, because this curse seems just really too much for a woman. When if you really stop and think about it, that woman's curse is only temporary. When you go back and look at that text, that woman's curse is only temporary. She is to bear children. You don't bear them every day. Stop and think about it. You don't bear them every day. That male is at 3:17. That male is to do what? From the sweat of his brow. So watch this. When? It says for the rest of his life. For the sweat of his brow. So then that male then has the greater punishment, than that female. Because yours can be something temporary. Ours is to remain. So then what are we talking about? Then we're talking about this independent woman that's running around here, that's making decisions for others, that's saying, I want to do this, that's screaming out equality, I want to be equal to man. Well, God never made you like that. God made you as a helpmeet. That's what he made you. But what is taking place is, a lot of times in your selection may have been poor, built around something you saw. There's a deception. Something about that person that you saw, and later on find out this person ain't worth a quarter. And now you want to get out of this situation. Whereas that male is not to run up on. I had a friend tell me his mouth had walked. He said to me, a friend of his made the statement that, man, after I married her, she just changed. She just went there. She just went crazy. I said, no, she didn't. He said, yes, she did. I said, no, she always was. But what you didn't see was because you didn't want to see it. What you were doing was allowing your hormones to make decisions. When you were supposed to think this out. You were supposed to make sure. But you can't make sure because you're allowing your hormones to lead you. So your hormones are worldly. It says you have animal instincts. So you go after her like an animal would. A dog don't care who he's with.
That's right.
You hear me? Stop and think about it. So you go after it like it's an animal. When God says, but I made you I put you in my own image. I put you in my own likeness. I made you. So you are to be able to use the intellectual side of you and think this out. You are to stay away from your hormones, which I built in you because I wanted you to multiply the face of the earth. That's why you have that hormone and pheromone or whatever you call it. But that's why you have this. I wanted you all to come together to multiply the face of the earth. But it's been abused because the world has taken advantage of your hormones. The world shows you everything sensuous, everything sexual. You look on boards, the billboards, and it's sex everywhere. Sex here and there. You go out and buy a car, they got it on a picture. They got to show some cute little girl on the picture. You really see it when motorcycles are being sold. But the idea of it is, man says, what I want to do is, I want to keep you aroused, so keep you doing wrong. God says, I never meant for it to be that way. I meant for you to find a wife. That's what I meant for you to find, yes.
Yes, can I kindly turn the air off?
Yes, if it's going.
It's just a fan, it's not the air.
Do you
But
mind
if
if I
it's
turn it
bothering,
off?
No, turn it off, I'm just,
if
in
it's
case you were getting too cold, I didn't know
just
if
the
it's
center button,
noisy
just hit
or
the center.
cold.
That's it. So then look what you've got. This is what you've got now. You've got a world that, and we're going to get back to our text, but you've got a world that God was aware of. And it started many years ago, long time ago. And what do you have? You've got, as a matter of fact, it's okay to be an independent woman. You've got, it's okay that you don't even have to have a man. You've got this kind of talk that's running around right now. You got it okay, well, I can marry another woman. You got it okay, well, I saw today on the Sports Center, they're now trying to have, the men are fighting because they want to be a part of the cheerleading team. You seen that cheerleading team? And watch this. And the one that they show, you saw Jim, and the one that they showed on the cheerleading team was what? He's gay. Did you see it?
Oh, yeah.
He was every bit of gay. And I just think this is a great thing, and this should have happened a long time ago, and we can dance this as hard as when I can understand those football players, which would have to be quiet. But I can understand, you don't understand, I ain't trying to look at you. I said world. I said world. Of rare. It's rare. It is very rare. It is exceptionally rare in that arena. So now, what do you got? Ain't nobody want to see you, but what they're saying is, but you don't understand. We think men should be cheerleaders, and watch this. If that's what you want, then get men, because men don't want to be cheerleaders. But gay does. Did you hear me? But when there's an imbalance in thinking, then you do. Why would you want to take on the responsibility of what a man is doing? In the same way, why would a man want to take on what a woman is doing? Why would you want to do that? It already shows you your thinking is irrational. Something's wrong. And it's not hormones, because now you're trying to accuse God. Now you're trying to say God made you this way. When God didn't make you this way, this was a choice that all started from Satan. Romans 1:18 on down proves my point. Yes, God.
Yeah, that's just like the more you listen to the world, the more you watch the world, you start to make these comparisons.
Yes.
And it's contrary. The only problem with it is it's contrary to God's word.
Yes.
And you'll see when you open up the word really how to live.
Right.
And a lot of times, you know, these decisions are made, these choices are made, and they're totally independent.
Right.
And they're not dependent upon
Right.
what God says. Because what God says,
Right.
you have to really look at that and think twice before you make that independent decision.
But you can't make that independent, but it's not an interdependent decision. It's an independent decision. Why? Because for some reason or another, something in your life or something you saw felt that you need to be a domineering factor now. Well, if I don't take care of me, then who will take care of me? Well, you must ask yourself on the other side of that coin, do you desire, do you have a desire for the opposite? And if you do, that God put that in you. Then God will, then there is a mate that's available. But watch this, but so much damage has been done in upbringing or whatever took place in your life. So much damage has been done that you have now labeled every male, and it would be the same way with that man. You labeled and you say, ain't none of them worth the quarter. Ain't none of them no good. So you fall into the instinct of, I simply meet my pleasures and then I move on. And God never made us animals. He made us His greatest creation. Yes.
My comment too is that a lot more is going on that the human eye doesn't see.
Amen.
There's a whole
Amen.
underworld that's just really raging for gay and homosexuality.
Amen.
Now, in the case of there being that women don't want to find the right man or vice versa, so they turn gay. That's a spiritual thing, and it's an attack by the devil. Because if you separate family, you have nothing. You break down the whole premise of what God stands for. So isn't that more of a demonic attack than anything else? And
It's all demonic. He
Right,
says,
so as we
you
go
wrestle not against what?
into,
Flesh and
yeah.
blood.
So as we go into, we're in the time of the end right now, and so it was already foretold these things were going to go along.
You
So
got it.
my comment as a single woman at this point is that you do go from the past and you can make statements or how you're going to live your future, but isn't it also true that if you break down the family and the generations start, there isn't going to be anybody for you to marry, or your standards may be higher than what another person can bring to the table.
Which those,
And that started a long time ago
Right.
because of the breakdown of family.
I agree.
Okay, so some people came
I
from
agree.
good families, others
And
didn't.
so
They
what-
had more than did.
And I agree with you 100%, but here's the point. You're now in the church.
Okay.
Here's the point. You're now in Christ. Christ never broke down the family. It's always a family that's united. Well, you came in saying, I want to be of Christ. And Christ says, then I will teach you. And you say, great, but I got to go catch this club. You say, great, but I got to go to do some worldly entertainment. So what you're saying is, we're going to get there. I like you. I like you. But watch this. But you've been conformed to the world. So it's hard to let go of what you call pleasure. What you call having fun. It's hard to let go. And someone says, we don't do this. You say something's wrong with you. Now what you do is, as a Christian, what I will do is I won't make it known. But what I'll do is still do my thing, I just won't make it known. And then what I'll do is come in Sunday morning, and what I'll do is I'll carry on, amen, to my Lord. When all it is we getting there. All it is this issue. Get back into your book. All it is this issue. Matthew 7 says what? 12 says what?
Therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them.
Keep going.
For this is the law and the prophets.
Come on. Keep going.
Enter by the narrow
Then he
gate.
says what?
Enter by the narrow
He says,
gate.
first, I want you to go through a narrow gate. Watch this. He says, you're going to enter through a narrow gate. He says, what are you talking about? Well, if your mind hasn't been transformed, then you'll never enter. Christ came down here to do what? To, watch this, man, here's what man did. What we did was separate ourselves from God. Adam, you separated yourself from God. What did you do? Then the Bible speaks of it. I did it this morning, Genesis, the 4th chapter. And the Bible says, and then Adam knew Eve, and they bare a son. Well, watch this. The son is the image of who? Adam. The son is no longer the image of God because it's already been tainted. So now the son then is the image of Adam. And so what do you have? You've got the beginning, or you starting to see the beginning of deterioration. Little by little, years by years, moments by moments. The male is told, go out and sow all your wild oats. Oh, y'all know, I know y'all didn't heard that statement. So what are you saying? Really, Dad, what are you saying? Go out and lay up with every girl you want in town. And then when you get tired of laying up and then go find you a wife. So I just destroyed somebody's daughter while I'm in my search for a wife. So I just made somebody's daughter a hoe while I'm searching for what till I find, and I'm trying to find a wife who, if we do this right, how many others have been said the same thing? So now I'm looking at, oh, you had her? Well, how was she? Okay, let me try. Nah, I don't want that. Do you hear what I'm saying? So mankind has caused it, or women, no, mankind has caused this problem. Where now you run around to the point now sex is free. You don't need to go to no strip joint, brawl, whatever they call it. You don't need to go there no more. Why? You go to the day gym if you want and find what you want. There's all kinds of hoes in the day gym. Oh, y'all don't hear me. There are. Because watch this. Who, watch this, from a spiritual standpoint, will wear the clothing you wear to the gym? Who would do that? If you were a spiritual woman and the desire for working in the gym is what you desire, you're going to still make sure you're properly dressed when you go into that gym. You're not trying to draw attention. You're coming in there to work on your body. But no, you're coming in there because you know that men are going to walk up in there. Hopefully somebody likes what they see. And so you've got a vicious circle of sin. You got men no longer carrying on like men, they're carrying on like animals. And then Paul says it's better to marry than to burn in passion. Paul said to the Corinthian church, hey, you got concubines, you got wives, you got lovers. I'm talking about homosexual lovers. Paul said, you got to choose one. All you get is one. But wait a minute, but this wife had 10 kids, and this wife had 7 kids, and this wife had 5 kids. He said, I don't care. You still, all you get is one. So what do I do with the other ones? Put them away. All you can have is one. You say, okay, I'll put them away. You don't get it. It ain't that easy. Because you've been living in sin for the longest. Because you've been living in sin for the longest, you make a choice. And your choice, and a lot of the choices are here, what we're talking about. The choices are, I'd rather take the wide road. I'd rather not give up my lifestyle. This is what you have, believe it or not, in the church. I'd rather not give up my lifestyle. I just don't want to say it around the preacher. But I'd rather not give up my lifestyle. My lifestyle, I enjoy. You telling me I can't go out and go partying? I don't understand this. And there's no need in me debating with you. Because what you're telling me is you haven't transformed. That's why you're struggling. That's why you, well, what, you mean I can't do this? That's why you're struggling, because you've never transformed. You went in that water and you never allowed yourself to grow. Because if you went in that water, with wanting to know who Jesus was. Well, in order to fix something, you need to get the instructions. Jesus gave you the instructions how to fix your soul, how to fix your life. He gave you those instructions. But you're still in the world, so you don't need those instructions. You figure this thing out on your own. And you know what? I ain't going over to Westchester no more. Because you know what? He's always saying something that's going to hurt my feelings. No, he's saying what you don't want to hear because you don't want to transform. You want to remain the way you are. So what you'll do is search for another church where you can do what you want to do and nobody knows. Yes, sir.
Yeah, although you're saying that, the reality is the Spirit leads you in all truth and righteousness.
Right.
And if I'm feeding my spirit is then activated and it comes to me. That means that I put myself in certain places where I can continue to feed on the truth.
Right.
Right. So I can grow.
That's right. That's right.
But if I'm not doing that, then the struggle.
Then I'm still growing. No, I'm still growing, but this way.
Yeah.
But I'm still growing, but this way. Because now I'll figure out how to still look like a Christian. I come in Sunday morning, I'm all dressed up. I'll still figure out how to look like a Christian, but when I go in the club, everybody know my name. But do you hear me? Everybody knows my name. When I go, what'd you say?
I think got a nickname for you.
There you go. But watch this. But when I come to church, I want to act like I'm holy. And watch this. And I have to accept what the minister says, because I don't study no way. I ain't studying no way. And so I'm thinking I'm going to get to heaven because, I've followed the rule. And the rule said I need to go to church. So I followed the rule. That ain't God's rule. God's rule was that you be obedient. That was God's rule. And in the obedience, it is for you to grow up so that you'll understand this body, which has separated itself from God, God wants to put it back together. But you won't let it, first portion. But you won't let it because you're too busy into your worldly ways that you keep lying to yourself and pretending like there's really no difference. And you can see it. And talking to you, I made this statement a long time ago. All I need to do is talk to you for a few minutes, not tell whether or not you love the Lord or not. But I do love the Lord. Stop lying. See, that's where we miss. Stop lying to yourself. Because if you love the Lord, then you become obedient. So you stop lying. You can't tell me I don't love Him. Yes, I can too. Because you don't grow. You wouldn't know what Genesis and Revelation is. So what are you talking about? You're lying to yourself. And you're only fooling yourself. This church is built around spiritual. It is divine. So then God would know that you're lying to Him. We wouldn't, but God knows you're lying. Portia.
So if God sees all, and He knows that I love to dance. So if I decide on Saturday night I want to join some friends and go Chicago stepping, I'm not drinking. There's nothing that's disrespectful.
Okay.
We're just dancing.
Okay.
I may go at 9 o'clock and leave at midnight as
Okay.
an example.
Okay.
So does that make me any less of a Christian?
Who are you
Because
dancing with?
I'm sorry?
Who are you dancing with?
I'm dancing with different men that
That's
I hang
what
out.
I want to hear you say it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
So
being
watch
honest.
this.
It's a question.
And watch this. And your heart would be, I'm just dancing. But that other mind says, look at the hips and how they move. I am trying to figure out how I'm going to get next to this. And so what are you doing? So what are you saying? I can't identify you from a Christian versus the world. So when I come, and I'm going to let you back in. So when I come to communicate, to talk to you, I ain't talking about how much you love the Lord. Hear me? When I come up to talk to you, I ain't talking about how much I love you. You love the Lord. What I'm coming up to do is I've got an agenda. I saw hips move. I've got an agenda. And my agenda is to try to work this, to play this game. I've been there. play this game. What game you want to play? Well, I'm a Christian. Well, did you know me? I am too. Wait a minute. If you want to talk to me, I told you all this story. You have to go to church with me. I said, when are we supposed to go to church? When are we supposed to go to church? Watch this. Well, I want you to be here Sunday. I'll come pick you up. Huh? I'll even come pick you up. How you like them apples? I've got an agenda. Guess what? You're telling me how I can get that agenda met. You don't know it, but you're telling me how I can meet that agenda. Because guess what? The more I do for you, I want to return. Watch this, hold on. Even with going to worship with the young lady, sit into worship, listen to everything, praise, the whole bit. Could care less, because that ain't what my agenda is. My agenda is to meet what you said I needed to do. So when the church is over with, you think I'd have came out and said, praise his holy name? You think I'd say, hallelujah, Jesus? I says, so now, what do? You don't have a choice. I met your obligations. I did everything that you asked of me to do. So do we go to your house or mine? Which one we go to? Did you hear me? Which one we go to? Because I've met it. Well, you would think surely, he would have saw me as a Christian. I did. But I didn't say I was. But I saw what you call yourself being. So what do you mean? One more time. Adam was not deceived. It was who? I'll never get past that. It was Eve that was deceived. And God knows that. So I'm going out for entertainment. Watch this. That same 4 hours is what I thought I heard you say. How many hours did you give to the Lord? Did you give him the same 4 hours?
Possibly so.
Guys, be honest. Did you give the Lord, did you pick up God's word? Did you study it for 4 hours as well?
No.
That's what I'm talking about. When we are transformed, we find this much more important. Watch this. It becomes so important that interest that I had, which I thought was of a lot of fun, I find this is a whole lot of fun.
Okay, and that could be very well
Go
true,
ahead.
Pastor. And let's just say that on a particular day that I read the Bible for 8 hours in a given day. But my question to you...
Let's not go...
I'm just using that as an example, but my question to you is if I decide to go out dancing, why does that make me any less of a Christian? Because I have a passion for dancing.
Romans 15.
It could be a passion for
Romans
interior
15.
decorating. Okay.
Romans 15. That's right. Romans 15. 1 says what?
We're starting at the beginning of
Yes.
15?
And you ain't got to go far.
We who are strong ought to bear with the failings of the weak and not to please ourselves.
What? We, watch this, from what I would see in King James. How's yours? Give me some King James. Okay, see, you got some King James. You got KJ over there?
It says, we then that are strong.
We then that are strong, you consider yourself strong. There's nothing wrong with what I do because you consider yourself strong. He says, we that are strong, he says, we should do what? Bear the infirmities of that which is weak. That's right, we should bear the infirmities of weak. So what I do, there's nothing wrong. Well, if you're strong, you produce a stumbling block for somebody. So if you're strong, then you can put it away. I've made this statement. I said, that's why I said it's so hard when this is the only way we want to see it. I made this statement, and I said this in the class today. I said, do y'all remember I wore a red suit here? I wore a red plaid suit here. Had red pants to it. Portia, I know you remember that. It had red pants, and it had a plaid red jacket upon it. Nice looking outfit. I'll never forget it. One sister, Sister City, came up to me and says, You know, that's a very nice, bright outfit. But you shouldn't wear that in the pulpit. I could have said, don't you wait a minute, then you going to buy this suit? You know, because it's bought. You're going to buy this, and then I'll stop wearing it. But I saw that scripture in the back of my head. It says, wait a minute, don't you be a stumbling block for somebody else. So what does that mean? Have you ever seen me in it anymore? You hear what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen that? Why? Paul says if it means that I no longer eat meat, he says that I won't do it. For the sake of the kingdom. What are you saying? It comes down to this point. I said when we develop our Christian walk, when it develops, then we'll understand this. What we'll do is, and I heard you, read yours again. I want you to see, it says something in the end. It says what?
1 second, I turned, we're in.
Romans 15. It says what?
We who are strong ought to bear with the failings of the weak and not to please ourselves.
And not to do what?
Please ourselves.
This is what we're doing. It's all about us. What's wrong with the dance? I used to win dance contests, whether y'all know it or not. I sure did.
I tell you, you read the
I
Bible,
sure did.
you ain't gonna wanna go out.
Wait a minute, what do you, watch this, and then watch this. So what took place? Surely you want to do that. You know what I would do Sunday mornings? Because I was an athlete to my heart. Sunday mornings, it's time to go ball. Let's go to the gym and go ball. UCLA, wasn't nobody, watch this, only people could get into that gym were true ballers. You can't ball, you better have a name up on you. You ain't walking in that gym. You walk in that gym if you want to. You'll sit there the whole time and watch the ballers ball. 8 o'clock, I was there. Wait a minute, what time worship start? What time Bible study start? I'm saying not a true baller, I mean a dedicated baller. It was my heart, my passion, my soul. It was it. I mean, if I woke up in the morning, you probably heard it bouncing. It was my baby. That was my girlfriend to the max. So how did you put it away? When this became real. When this became real, I had to make a choice. So where Warren at? I had to make a decision. You don't think it didn't hurt? I can hear that ball bouncing, I can hear the tennis shoe squeaking while I'm sitting in the church. You know what I'm saying? I know where I need to be. What am I doing here? Because you're making a choice. And the choice is you don't want to do the Matthew 7:13. You don't want to go to hell. And you know you don't want to go to hell. So make a choice. And watch this. And if hell is what you choose, then go back out there. Do your thing. Maybe you catch evening worship. I doubt it. But go ahead.
2 Corinthians 6:14.
That's another one.
Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what fellowship has righteousness with lawlessness? And what does communion have with light with darkness?
It's there.
So,
Those
what
verses
is the
alone.
difference? You know, she
No, I
dances
heard.
because of exercise. She wanted probably exercise with her friends and stuff like that. What is the difference with that and going to the gym?
First of all, let's stop this spade. Call a spade a spade.
Okay.
Let's not try to sugarcoat anything. I go to dance to have a great time. She says I dance with different men. Well, I hate to tell you this, when you go into the lion's den, because that's what that is.
Wait, let's back up because, with all due respect, I would hope that the perception of what I like to do as a passion is not perceived in the wrong way.
All right.
What I do is I do love Chicago stepping, and it is a
I don't
group
even
of
know
people.
what it is, to be honest
Well,
with you.
I would be happy to show it to you, but it's a group of people that I've known for about 10 years.
Okay.
A large majority of these people are married, and we have traveled all around the United States dancing
Okay.
together. There is no form of people trying to hook up
Okay.
No one, I can't speak to the fact if anybody is looking at my hips. My intention is not to pick up on anybody. My intention is to dance and
Amen.
to dance only.
Amen.
Now, there are a lot of people in this group that I dance with that are Christians who are not members of the
Amen.
Church of Christ. They are at other denominations. Now, for me to listen to what you're saying and for people to have their perception within this classroom that I am doing any less or
Right.
more of
What
than
is
just dancing,
Go ahead.
that is not the case. It is just dancing.
Watch, watch.
And it is a passion that I have.
Right.
Like we all have our own passions.
Right.
here. But with me dancing, I don't think that it makes me any less of a Christian if I go for 2 hours and I choose to read the Bible for 4 hours.
Okay.
So that's why, Pastor, I was trying to get an understanding from you that because of this passion that I have, that is deeply rooted. I'm sure that we all have them. I've been dancing since I was a little girl.
I played ball since I was a little boy.
Yeah, exactly. So why should that be something that I should not be able to do if it's something that I'm passionate about doing
Now watch this.
and I am not doing anything that is negative?
Watch this,
I'm not
because-
drinking alcohol, I'm not doing drugs, I'm not snorting, I'm not smoking, I'm just dancing.
Okay. Because watch this. You, in your mind, are innocent. You're not doing anything to cause any problems with you. With you. But you could be a stumbling block for someone else. As a Christian, when we give up everything. We are to empty ourselves before the Lord. He wants us to get rid of that old man, Colossians 3. He wants us to get rid of not some of that old man. He wants to get rid of all of that old man. He says that something was a table. He says, what I want you to do is to put away that old man. Why? Because God can't work with you if any inkling of that old man exists. God wants you empty, prostrate on the ground. Recognize that you're nothing. Then God says, now I can use you. Why? Because I'm going to tell you to get up. I'm going to lift you up. Why? Because it's no longer, when you realize it's no longer about me. I didn't see nothing wrong with my red suit. I didn't see nothing wrong with me playing ball, and everybody's as innocent as you can get. And watch this, and I'm out there with just other men. So there's nothing wrong with it. Until somebody wants to know, so where are you, brother? Man, I'm in the gym doing my thing. I've created a stumbling block for somebody. They don't even say it. Because you know what it says? Oh, maybe I can go play ball too. What's wrong with it? Watch it, Sister City, who I was talking about. You all in this room would say there's absolutely nothing wrong with what you wore. None of you would say it. Jesus left 99 and went after that one. So that one is what he's saying is, if I'm a stumbling block for one, I'll let it go. You can do that when you've surrendered completely to Christ. But when we're still holding on, some of that old man was still holding on. Come on, guys. Every last one of you got some closets. Every last one of you got something that you were once doing or you're still doing. And you're trying to justify what's wrong with it. God is trying to tell you, if you center in on me, if you study me, if you learn of me, what you do, will it take you to heaven? If you dance in your way, will it dance you to heaven? If you ball in your way, will it ball you to heaven? If you wearing this, will it get you to heaven? This is where Jesus, I came down here to educate you. You can't get into heaven. I told you, if y'all let me get through this text, I'm going to show you some stuff. This is what he's talking about. We got to let go. And only those that let go will enter in. You can be a great church goer down here, all you want. God knows your heart. He knows where you are. He knows what you won't let go. And he says, I'm sorry. Because you won't let it go, you are saying you don't trust me. You're saying that I cannot. Watch this. If you let go of something, God says, I will. Every time you let go of something, I will replace it. Every time you let go of something, I will replenish it. I will take care of it. Every time you let go. I'm not going to leave you void. Because if I leave you void, Satan is busy. That's why your Ephesians 6 is there. He tells you don't take it off. Keep it on. When you went into Christ, keep on all that armor, every ounce of it. Because Satan knows what you did of the old. And he'll take you back to the reminiscent days. Well, you think you had a good time. I told you, I was a professional athlete. I can't say it enough. Somebody asked me 50 million years ago, how did you break away from doing what you did? Because I got tired of women were all the same to me. Being honest with you. Because they were all the same to me. The same old thing, play the same old game, end up in the same old bed. When it's all over, walk away. Who cares? It ain't no big thing. Who cares? Why? Because you do it regular. It's done often. It ain't no big thing no more. Look, she sees me, I see her. What you want? Here's my smile. And I'm going to let you in. Here's my old statement I used to just say to every girl. How are we going to do this? How you doing? What's your name? She tell me what her name. You know much nicer than that. But she tell me what her name is. Well, let me see. You know, I saw you looking at me. I was looking at you. We can either play this game. Watch this. I can take you to movies. I can take you here. I can take you there. And then guess what? And the bottom line is, then we can lay down. And watch this. And I don't find you interesting. I don't find you somebody I want to stay with. I'm gone. I'm hard. I'm sorry. I'm gone. Now, how do we want to do this? Or we can go in here and meet one another's needs, and if something comes up out of this, amen. That's a pretty ugly statement, isn't it? And it worked every time. And it worked every time. Wow, you're very candid. At least you're telling me what you think. So what are we going to do? Hear me? So what are we going to do? You see how crazy that is? And watch this. And in my mind, it's okay. Yes, go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's why the Old Testament is for our learning. Because the contrast is, back then, it was a matter of life and death. And
right.
People were fighting for their life. And today, people are fighting for their rights.
That's right.
So the right to do what I want to do. This is my right. But God says it's a matter of life and death. So you either do it this way, and the sad thing about it is, because we're not falling out. We pass it on, but we just not falling out. Back then, they were falling out.
They were
dropping.
And so what do you have? Right, they were dropping. So what do you have? It's deception. God has allowed deception to take its course. You're in the last days. Matthew the 24th chapter, he tells you if it was not for the elect's sake. If it wasn't for the elect's sake, just be gone. All of this be gone. But there are few that want to live for God. There are few that want to surrender their behavior. I had somebody tell me this I'm serious, not too long ago. A statement was made, when you surrender to Christ like you should surrender to Christ, like you really should. The statement was made, you're not interested in parties. You're not interested in doing this. If anything, you're interested in wanting to be around your brothers and sisters. If anything, this becomes real. I want to learn more and more of what this has to say, so it occupies my time. I'm just telling you, y'all don't know my past. For me to turn that ship around, for me to let go of some stuff. This had to be real.
Well, the reality is I guess it's a little bit hypocrisy because, you know, I have Christian friends who are actually within this church and other churches who dance, you know, and I guess we all just thought that it was just okay to do, and it wasn't something that would condemn us and that it was actually wrong. But I'm glad that we're having a conversation, and I'm glad that I've asked it.
But why,
because
dancing is not a sin.
I don't know unless I ask.
But
right?
dancing is not a sin. Let's get that one straight.
Well,
Dancing is not
I've
a sin.
asked many pastors, and they have all told me that it is not a sin.
It's not a sin. Dancing is not a sin. Yeah, I'm telling you, dancing is not a sin. Drinking is not a sin. I'm telling you, it's not a sin. But any time it causes somebody else to stumble, then it creates a problem.
But I don't know if it's creating.
And that's what I'm saying. Nobody's going to
Because
tell
I'm
you.
going there innocently just to dance.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't speak for other people.
Right. That's why I said I was going innocently too. But watch this, as I studied God's word more and more and more, I realized, am I of hindrance or am I doing God's will? I told you, I craved it. I mean, if you cut me out of bleed basketballs, I can't. I'm telling you the truth. If you talk to my family, they'll tell you. Basketball crazy. What's wrong with it? Well, I knew one thing, it wasn't a sin. I knew that much, it wasn't a sin. But what was it doing? It was, what'd you say?
It was your idol.
You got it. You got it. That's what it does. It becomes an idol to the point that I don't even see anything, absolutely nothing wrong with it. But anytime it hinders me from doing the will of God, we got a problem in the house. Because, wait a minute, but it didn't hinder me from doing the will of God. So let me ask you something. Then, what does it say in Romans 1? You say, well, hold on, let me pull the book and let me get to it. No. If you have been a student of God, studying God's word, you tell me what Romans 1 is. You tell me, you'd understand it because you studied it. But if you're not studying it, how in the world do you expect to enter into the kingdom of heaven when you won't use the tool that God has given us to get there? And watch this. And if it's really simple, then help me. Because I struggle with it. Help me. Because it doesn't seem so simple to me. It requires that I study it. It requires that I keep digging into it over and over and over. It locks in my time. Sometimes I'm there during the day, and when I look up, it's night. I'm telling you the truth. What do you mean? Because it's gotten me locked in. I want to know more and more, because here's something we should all desire. We all want to go to heaven. Every last one of us want to go to heaven. God says give up something. What you going to do? Give up something. Watch this. What Lord, did you want me to give up? I gave my life. How about you give yours? I gave my life. How about you give yours? I told you when we have been conditioning of the mind, when we have conditioned ourselves, that this is what it's all about. Hitler said, give me your child from 3 to 6 and I'll give him back. And I'll give him back. But every time I walk past, he'll go, hi Hitler. What in the world caused that? Because it's what we've been ingrained. I said, dancing is not a sin. So don't walk out here and say it's a sin. Where does the sin lie? When I'm producing a stumbling block for someone. And watch this. And if I'm over here shaking my hips and all the men in that room is married, what do you think they're looking at? They didn't see their wives. Satan now works on them. Satan says, boy, don't you understand? I can kill a whole lot of them if I do this right. Because watch this. Now they're looking upon a woman with lust. Now they're looking, oh no, baby, I'm not, no, baby. Ooh, girl, go, do your thing. When, what am I doing? He's a man. If he's a man. If he's a man, then he's looking at the opposite. If he's a man and he's been married, or he's married, he knows what the opposite is and what he can do. So now I'm looking at, watch this, I know what you look like. But Lord have mercy, look at this one over here.
Well, the same thing happens at church.
I agree. But watch this. So then I'm not to be a stumbling block either at the church. So what are you saying? Now it says to me, my dress apparel. I need to be careful that I'm not a stumbling block for my brother. That my brother's not looking at me in a lustful manner, but my brother is looking at me as a woman. I told you the church is what Christ established for equality, is what he did. I don't know why he's looking at me crazy. Well, your breast's hanging out. I don't know why he's looking at me crazy. Maybe you need to go look in the mirror and see what I see. Maybe you need to go look in the mirror and see what I see. Wait a minute, what are you doing? You produced a stumbling block for that brother and don't even know it. But watch this, but yes you did know it. Because when you put that on, you knew what you looked like. Come on, we need to stop lying. You knew what you looked like when I used to teach Steve this all the time. Steve said, brother, I so like this. I said, brother, I got a mirror. I know what I look like when I walk in. But you hear me? And I used to tease him with that all the time. Didn't I just tell that you too careful? I just said, look, I got a mirror. I know when I check myself out, boy, you ready? You killed him. What you say? You killed him. Go get him, boy. Go get him. So watch this. And watch this. So from that female, she knows too. You put on stuff. You know what you know that outfit's loose. You know that outfit is meaning too tight. Or watch this, or loose, or it's too loose. You know what you're doing. Stop it. You try to play games. That's why I said to Lenny, call a spade a spade. Don't quit playing games. We're adults in here. Don't walk in here half naked and then talk about, and then I don't know why you looking at me. What you mean why I'm not looking at you? You have to be careful with that. It's just like the world is the church, but last time I checked, the world comes into the church. Last time I checked. So why would it be any different? I came in here because I need a physician. I need to be healed. I've been out there in that world too long. I need healing. So heal me, church. And Lord, I'm ready to look at here. I had a partner came in not a couple of years ago. He came in, you know what he said? He said, man, brother, he says, man, brother, you preach good. I said, well, man, I sure hope to see you. He said, oh, you gonna see me? Because he said, I saw God behind up in here, I'm gonna connect with you. That's in the church. Wait a minute, you just heard me preach the gospel.
That's what they talk about at Westchester.
That's the whole, wow, what you say? What? That's the whole thing. Well, watch it, not only West Angeles, that's the majority of your large churches.
It's the biggest form of hypocrisy.
That's right, and I agree with you 100%.
Of hypocrisy.
But
I don't care if I have a turtleneck up to the top of my forehead, the shape of my body is going to be the shape of my body. So don't always, pastor, not you just in general, but men, put it on the women. The men need to just hone in on themselves.
they need to grow up.
They need to grow up. It's about the women.
That's it.
And watch this. And watch this. And hold on. And hold up. Because if you got a turtleneck up to here and everything is covered, he's not looking at you like that. Hold on. He's got an imagination now. Now he's got to figure this out. Hold on. He's got to figure this out. But watch this. But hold on. It doesn't matter. He's still got to figure this out. He's got to figure out what's up under all that. He's got to figure that out. But if you coming in and it's showing, I ain't got to figure nothing out. I already know what I see. Now I need to do is figure out how I'm going to get that shit back. All I got to do is work. Well, it ain't what he think, because I said he's coming in from the world too. He's coming into the church. He's coming off of whatever problems it was he was having out there. He's walking into the church trying to get a healing. And Lord, he sees something just like he saw when he was in the world.
But you said, who deceived God?
Eve. There it is. That's why I said we play these games even in the church. Watch this.
But you know what?
Don't.
It is total.
It can be, watch this.
But
It can
because a woman can
be.
be a hoe, but a man can't.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. So I'm not knocking that. But what
A
I'm
man can have
saying is,
16 babies, and a woman can have sex by 5 women, but she's a hoe. A
That's-
man got 16 kids. What is that? It's hypocrisy.
he's a hoe.
Okay, but you
That's
can't
what
be
he is.
big hoe.
Watch this, watch this.
Hoe.
When he comes into the church,
He's
that's
still a
what
hoe.
he is.
So is that,
Hold on,
is that a part
this is
of
what I'm
them-
saying.
Is that a part of them sinning against God?
Yes.
That's a part of their punishment.
So he's a hoe. He's just like you. I told you. I admit it. I was a hoe when I came in. I admit it. You said it's true. I agree with you. But it doesn't change anything till I make the transformation. That's when it changes. When I make the when I'm tired of being a hoe and I want to be respected by God, not by you all, but by God. Now I have to make a decision. And the only way I can make that decision is I start to pick up God's word. Because that's the only way I'm going to be You can talk to me all night. I still got one agenda. Jesus what? Yeah, I still got one agenda. But when God transforms me, that's when things happen. Yes.
Okay, and that's what I was saying earlier. The curse on Eve was that women would desire
You sure
men
did.
more
You
than
sure.
they would desire the female.
Right.
And you said no, but it reads clearly here. To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception.
Right.
And in pain you shall bring forth children, your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you.
Yeah.
So that transcends to women today. So if we're in the last days, so what other thing for Satan to pump up to the 10th power, where women are made to be the villain and men can run around and do whatever, and even in the church it's like you're supposed to be subservient to the man, and they get to, it sounds like they get to run around and do whatever they want. And the woman is always
not in God's
referred
church.
to as the temptress.
Not in God's church. That's why I said, when God established, first of all, it's God that established His church. With God, He came with rules and regulations in the church for both parties. Titus, the 2nd chapter. Go look at it. There were rules and regulations for both parties. All right, wait a minute. No. Paul made that clear as well in 2 Timothy, the 2nd chapter, 2 Timothy, the 2nd chapter, 13 and 14. He says women are to be what? Silent in church. Why are they to be silent in church? He's going to explain it when you get past 14.